Hello, my friends. Welcome to our Data Focus channel. Today, I want to show you some good content on the stacked bar chart on Power BI, but it's not any stacked bar chart. I have another video talking about the horizontal stacked bar chart. Today, I want to explore the vertical stacked bar chart. They're very similar, but there are different cases where you want to use one over the other. So stay with me until the end so you learn from my experience what has been the best use case for the vertical stacked bar chart. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please do that right now. Leave your thumbs up in your comments below so we can always bring great content for you. Let's go. Okay, so on Power BI, we have the first two charts, the most basic forms of charts, visualizations in Power BI is first the stacked bar chart, horizontal one. We explored that in another video. I'm gonna leave the card up here. And we have the stacked column chart. Simply put, it's the exact same chart, but it's a vertical one, okay? The best case for that guy, and let me just drag sales in here. Instead of show card, let's change that to this column chart. So I have like a one single column representing the total sales of $2.2 million globally for every different region, every category, every product. If we want to break that down by subcategory, for example, there we go. So if we break this down by subcategory, you see, it's not that bad, right? But it's still getting, it's starting to get a little hard to read what each bar represent, right? We can see the phones is number one, then chair, but because it's kind of tilted, the legends, 45 degrees, it's not that hard to read, right? The user doesn't have to tilt their head too much. But let's say you have like just a little bit of space in your dashboard, and then now the user have to tilt their heads, or it's just too small for them to read and kind of identify which category is which. So in that case, I highly recommend using the horizontal bar chart, like I explained in the other video. So the vertical one is great when you want to compare total sales or any metric you have over time, okay? Keep that in mind. Whenever you have to compare anything over time, always try to use a horizontal axis for the time, for date, for month, whatever it is, because that's how our brain works. We read left to right, at least here in the West continent and in the Western hemisphere. It's not a hemisphere, is it? Whatever. We read left to right, right? That's how our brain works, and that's how we better visualize data over. So let's remove these subcategory here, and let's actually add date. So what happened here? We can see that we have like very little bars on my chart. Let's see if I can show. There we go. So on October 2nd, 2016, we have a total sales of $18,000. So as you can see, even though this is over time, it's still not a good visualization, mainly because we're too granular. Each bar here represents one single day of sales. So whenever you have a high aggregation like this one, definitely use a line chart instead. But when you don't have to go too granular, for example, if you're showing your data by quarter or by month, then the stacked bar chart might be a great option for you if you want to use that to show. So let's do that. Select these, click it, just select it once. And let's use month, take date out. There we go. So we have all 12 months in here, okay, worth of sales. And we can see kind of what's the trend or what's the seasonality for our sales, if I might put it that way. And that's great, right? The bar chart works fine because we're not too granular and the individual bars are very easy to read. Even if I add, let me select formatting and add data labels, for example. So it's very easy to read, and actually let me put that data label inside base. You see? So very easy to read, very simple. We only have like 12 months, 12 data points to show. So it works just fine. But remember, if you have to go too granular, then run away from the stacked bar chart because it's not going to work just so. So the second thing is when you want to compare and want to see the parts of which month, what are they composed of? For example, if you want to break that down by region, let me select region and drag that into legend. We can see that the total sales, how the total sales are broken down for each of the months I'm displaying on my chart. And if you're using the line chart, for example, right? But if you want to break that down, do that. Let me change this to a line. You see, the line chart works, but they have different purposes because the line chart is only showing each category over time individually, and we're kind of comparing each category amongst themselves. But the stacked bar chart has a different purpose. The stacked bar chart has the purpose of showing me, okay, out of the 4 different regions I have, how much each of them compose each month I'm looking at, okay, if that makes sense. So for example, it's very, very easy for me to see here, but not on the line chart, that let's pick an example here. Yeah, month 4, for example. We can see that the total sales are very evenly distributed across all 4 regions for the month of April. As of, if we look at the line chart, it's very, very hard to tell. They're very similar or close together or whatever it is. So you see that they serve very different purposes, okay? That's when you want to use the stacked vertical bar chart. Again, when you want to compare data over time, and you need to break that down into smaller pieces so you can see how each piece is composed and is helping compose the total. Another tip is avoid using too much data labels. Like in this example, I have all these data labels and it's rounding to the nearest million. I definitely would not use that. I can change that later. But I wouldn't use too many data labels just because it can pollute your chart. It can be visually daunting, you know? So if I turn this down and maybe I only want to show the totals instead, make this bigger, bold, and there we go. Okay. So you can still hover over your mouse so you can see the total individual sales for the region West, but I don't have like too much information in my chart. Maybe you have to because you're going to print that. You want to see the little individual data labels. But in most cases, in my experience, like try to be as simple as possible, easy to read. Don't over populate your chart with too much information that will make the experience for the user too complicated. So simple is always best. So there you go. So that's the best use for the stacked bar chart. I hope you like it. If so, please leave your thumbs up. If you have any comments, please leave your comments below so I can learn more from your experience as well. What do you see that it worked best for you? What's a good use case that you have learned it helped you in your work in building your dashboards? Let me know so I can always bring great content for you and for the community here on YouTube. Thank you. See you next time.